Welcome. I'm Nancy O'Keefe, Human Design Specialist and Intuitive Business Coach, and you're listening to Business Success with Human Design on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network. We broadcast every Thursday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern. Listen online, on your mobile device, in your car, or ask Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 radio. To learn more or for a full program schedule, go to dreamvision7radio.com.
From the intuitive business coaching of Nancy O'Keefe comes Business Success with Human Design. Join us every Thursday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. to talk about how business owners are using their human design to create a business that aligns with their life's work, how they're wired to operate, and how they're here to serve, so they can return to the joy of running a business that feeds their soul. There isn't one right way to conduct business, but there is one right way for you. Nancy has helped hundreds of business owners redefine success their way.
Today, I want to share something that completely changed the way I look at business. And if I'm honest, it changed the way I look at myself too. For a long time, I thought the answer to growing my business was finding the right strategy. Maybe you felt that way too. You buy the course, you attend the workshop, you implement the system exactly as instructed, and for a little while, you feel hopeful. This is it. This is the thing that's finally going to work. And then somehow it doesn't. Not the way it worked for anybody else, not the way it worked for the person that taught it to you. Maybe it works for a while and then it feels like dragging a stone uphill just to keep you going. And you start asking the questions I think every woman I've ever coached has asked herself at some point. Why does this work for someone else and not for me? What's wrong with me? I spent years assuming the strategy was broken or that I was. It took me a long time to consider a third option. The strategy wasn't designed for me. That day, everything changed. When I found human design about 10 years ago, I wasn't looking for a business tool. I wasn't looking to improve my marketing with it. I wasn't trying to become more visible. I was trying to understand myself. And what I found was something far more valuable than another business strategy. I found language for why certain things energized me while others drained me. Language for why some opportunities felt right and exciting and others didn't, no matter how good they looked on paper. Language for why I kept trying to force myself into ways of doing business that never really felt natural. I don't love human design because it's a personality system, or because it's fascinating, or because it's now trendy. I love it because it helped me trust myself again. Most personal development tools focus on improvement, and I've used all of them. I've used DISC, Myers-Briggs, Strength Finders, and so many others in the course of helping clients over the years. But human design focuses on understanding. That's a very different thing. The messages most of us have received our whole lives is to be more disciplined, more confident, more consistent, more outgoing, more visible, more of something that we're not. But what if you don't need to become more? What if you need to understand yourself more deeply? What if the things you've been trying to fix were never flaws? What if they're actually clues? Clues into who you are and how you're designed to work. Here's the big thing underneath all of this. We've been trained, conditioned in business and honestly everywhere else to value conformity. Sound like the expert that's teaching you. Follow the proven funnel. It works. Do it, and you'll be successful too. Market like the people who are already succeeding. Sameness gets sold to us as safety, as if the way to stand out is to look as much as possible like everyone else who's already standing. But the real value you offer a client isn't how well you match the people around you. It's how you differ from them. Nobody hires you because you sound like every other coach in your niche, but now we all do because we've been taught scripts and funnels and certain ways to say things, even certain questions to ask. But you get hired because of the thing you bring to the table that's different than everybody else. Maybe it's the way you see a problem. Maybe it's the language that you reach for, or the lived experiences underneath your perspective that you can share with others. Your business is an extension of you. It's influenced by how you make decisions, how you communicate, how you process information, and how you build relationships, how you lead, and how you trust yourself or don't. So when you don't understand yourself, your business reflects that confusion. And when you do, the business reflects that clarity. Your differences are not the obstacle to building a successful business. They are the business. Once I understood that, 4 things in mine changed completely. The first one was how I built my business. I had been trying to run it the way the books told me to. I was new to the online business world. I had a very successful brick and mortar business. I ran it for a decade. It was a multi-7-figure business. I had 50 employees. So it really got to me that no matter what I did, I couldn't get the online business off the ground. I've been trying to run it the way everybody told me to. The funnels, the team structure, the decision-making process, all borrowed from someone whose energy had nothing to do with mine. Human design showed me how I'm actually built to operate, how I take in the information, and when I'm meant to act with divine timing, when I'm meant to wait with patience, how I make a decision, and how I can actually trust instead of second guessing myself for a week. I stopped structuring my business around someone else's energy, and I started structuring it around mine. The decisions that used to drain me, what to say yes to, who to bring on, when to launch, got so much simpler. And it wasn't because I got better at deciding, because I finally understood how I was wired to decide. And if you learn nothing else from human design, using your decision-making authority, understanding what that is and how to use it, is a huge differentiating factor between success and not success. The second thing was how I understood my clients. When you can see someone's design, you stop guessing at what they need. You start actually seeing it. And when they talk about their symptoms, you know right where to look to see what's going on in their chart. It really gives you a leg up. You can often tell faster than they can tell you why one approach is going to feel impossible to them, no matter how good it looks on paper, and why another is going to feel totally aligned, like coming home. This changes who you attract in the first place. You stop trying to be right for everyone, and you start becoming unmistakably right for the people you actually are here to serve. And once they're in front of you, it changes how well you can serve them, because you're not running every client through the same generic framework. You're able to meet the person where they are, the actual person, not the persona they've been taught to use in business. And this really helps you and the client get at the meat of what's going on for them. The third place rather, that it really helped me was how I market and sell. Marketing, and even more so sales, may be the place this shows up most obviously for everyone. For years, I described what I do using language that sounded like everyone else in my industry, because that's what we've all been taught was professional and what we should do. But human design gave me precise words for the specific gifts that I have in my chart, not generic claims, the actual texture of how I see things, how I operate, and what skills and talents I have that I just don't even notice because they're so natural to me. It was eye-opening how some of the things that I do, like rolling off a log, are real skills that other people don't have and can benefit from when they work with me. The language is what makes it potential. The client feels like you wrote your marketing for them. You're pulling words right out of your human design instead of pulling them from somebody's script or template. And on the sales side, it goes even further. People don't arrive at the decision to buy in the same way. Some need time alone to feel certain about it. Some decide in the moment. Some people have to have the emotional click that says, yeah, this is it. Some need to talk it through with others before they can trust it. This gets back to the decision-making authority, and there's a lot of clues in there about how people make the decision to buy. And if you're not honoring all of the decision-making types in your sales process, you're going to repel some people right off the bat. It's unfortunate that the way we're taught to do sales is a very initiating energy, push it out there type of teaching. And really, it only works well for the manifestors in the world. They're the only ones with initiating energy. I think that's why a lot of my clients come to me and they say, I don't have any sales. And I look into their business and what they're doing, and it's because they're not making any phone calls or connections with people to have a sales conversation. Why? I've discovered over the years, it's because it feels awful to them because they don't have initiating energy and they're taught to do something that is not their natural way of doing things. When you understand how the person across from you, the one you're talking to about working with you, actually makes a decision, you stop running one closing script on everyone and you start meeting them in a way that they're actually built to say yes, and in the timing that they're actually built to say yes. It's huge. I've had a number of clients that have come to me and they don't want to be hustled and pushed. And even though everybody tells you follow up until they tell you they're getting a restraining order, some types that just doesn't work for. I have a conversation with them. I put it out there. They know what we can do together. And I tell them, I'm not going to hound you. When you're ready, call me. I'm here. You know where to find me. Now, I might follow up once if a month goes by and I don't hear from them, but I'm not going to hound them to death if that isn't in alignment with who they are and their energy. It's important to know who you're working with, and human design is the best way to do this. And I'm here to tell you, you don't have to have a 4-year certification in human design to understand how to read someone's chart. And you don't even have to understand the whole chart to pull out some of these things that we're talking about here today. So the fourth one was how I show up and stay visible. This is how I let myself be seen. For years, I thought I had a visibility problem. Maybe you feel that way too. You know you should be showing up more. You know your work can genuinely help people, and yet you still hesitate. You write a post, you don't publish it, or you have an idea and you talk yourself out of it, or you hate the way you look on a video, so you don't make them, or you hate social media posting. It feels like a drain, so you don't do it. But visibility is really not the real issue. Most of us don't actually want to stay hidden. We want to be seen, not just noticed, but seen for our gifts, our wisdom, our contribution. And underneath that hesitation is usually one handful of fears: being judged, being misunderstood, being too much or not enough, or what's worse, feeling like you might be doing it wrong. Maybe you don't feel like you know enough because you've been told there's a certain way to do things. And I'm here to dispel that myth. There is one right way to do things, but it's not the way you're taught. It's the right way for you, And we find that in your human design.
All right, well, welcome back. You're listening to Business Success with Human Design. I'm your host, Nancy O'Keefe, and let's pick up where we left off and continue our conversation.
Here's what changed for me. Visibility was never really about confidence. I have plenty of that. Or courage, because I can muster that when I need to. Or becoming more outgoing, because I'm that too. It's an expression of self-trust, trusting your perspective enough to share it, being brave enough to buck the status quo in some cases, trusting your experience enough to own it and share it and not apologize for it. Human design also showed me that we're not all built to express ourselves the same way. Some people influence through provocation, some through storytelling, some through depth or simplicity or sheer consistency or timing. There's no one formula for being visible, which means there's no one version of visibility you have to perform that doesn't actually belong to you. There are people right now who need exactly what you know and what you do. Not what another coach teaches, what you know from your lived experiences and your learning. And if you're hiding that, even unintentionally, they may never find you, not because you're not good enough, but because you're not visible enough for them to recognize you, or you sound the same as everybody else and they can't differentiate you from the next guy. So why do two women that take the same course get different results? If they take the same exact workshop, take the same exact notes, and implement the exact same strategy, walk away with two different results, it's because it's not about who tries harder or who executed better. It's that they're not the same design. They're being asked to produce the same outcome from the same formula, but they're not the same people. Sameness is never going to be the answer for either one of them. The good news is you don't have to start over. I want you to sit with that, especially if everything I've just said to you has a way of blowing up in your mind and you're thinking, oh my God, I got to redo everything I have. No, you don't. Most of us, when something isn't working, assume the entire thing is broken and we throw it out and start with a clean sheet of paper, a new niche, a new offer, a new identity. But most of the time, the foundation isn't the problem. The alignment is. So think about a plane. When you're in an airplane, if it goes 1 degree off course, over a short distance, you will never notice, and it will be easy for it to course correct and get back on course. Over time, though, it ends up somewhere completely different. Businesses work the same way. A small misalignment compounds, and so do small corrections. Most of us don't need to reinvent ourselves. We need to trust ourselves more. We need to be in alignment. Clarity of our message, refine how we show up, align our offers, and make decisions a little differently. That's not starting over. That's just coming home to yourself.
All right, well, you're listening to Business Success with Human Design. I'm your host, Nancy O'Keefe, and let's pick up where we left off and continue our conversation.
What if your best business strategy was already inside of you? I want to tell you something that I see all the time. I mean, all the time, after 30 years of working with business owners. There's this woman, and there are many women that look like her. She's been in business a long time, long enough to know what she's doing. She has clients, she has credentials, she's taken the courses and done the masterminds, and still something isn't clicking the way it should. It's harder than it feels like it should be. The clients she really wants aren't finding her the way she had hoped. Her messaging feels slightly off to her, and she can't quite put her finger on why. Here's what I've come to understand about that woman. She's not running her business, she's performing it. She's wearing a costume. She's playing the role of a business owner the way she was taught, the way everyone told her it was supposed to be done. And the problem isn't her effort. The problem isn't even her strategy. The problem is that the blueprint she's been handed belongs to someone else. There's a right way to build a business as an individual, and human design is a powerful tool I've found over the last decade in my work that actually shows you what it looks like for you specifically. There's a playbook, but it wasn't built for you. We're all trained on the same playbook. Do a webinar, make a pitch at the end. Everybody knows that's coming. Post on social media, engage, comment. But sometimes the algorithms don't even show what you're posting. Build your brand, niche down, create some avatar, figure out what magazines your client reads. Make it up if you have to. This is how we get our ideal client. Post consistently, follow the funnel. Sound confident even if you're not. Look polished. Do it the way the successful people in your industry are doing it, and you're guaranteed to be successful too. None of that is really wrong exactly. The problem is it was written for someone else. And when you follow someone else's blueprint long enough, you stop being able to hear your own instincts. There are brilliant women who exhaust themselves in this way. They hustle, and the hustle produces diminishing returns. The moment you realize it's exhausting, then you start repelling clients because your energy is coming off as being tired and drained. And when people can't tell who you are, they hesitate. What looks like a marketing problem or maybe a messaging problem is almost always an alignment problem. And that's where human design comes in. I want to give you some context here because I didn't come to human design as a spiritual seeker. I came to it as a business consultant who had used every major assessment tool on the market. Myers-Briggs, DISC, Strength Finders, as I mentioned, all useful within their limits. And the limit is this. They sort you into categories. 16 types, 4 quadrants. They put you in a box, and then they tell you which box it is. They label you. Human design doesn't sort you. It maps you. Human design is the science of differentiation, not which category you share with a percentage of the population, but the specific way you are wired. Now, if we just looked at energy type, we do sort of categorize people into that, and we do talk about the percentage of the population who shares that energy type. But that is one small aspect of your human design. And we also add to that the 64 gates, the channels, the superpowers, your centers. Are they defined or not defined? There's so many other layers of human design beyond type that really specify the way you are wired. And the moment I realized that, I couldn't go back. I couldn't keep putting people into the 16 types. I could no longer see that as the best way to talk with people. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Myers-Briggs. I'm a certified administrator. I've used it for years. I've administrated it probably 1,000 times. And it's a great tool. But human design looks at things a little differently. And frankly, it blew me away. And I have been using it exclusively with my clients ever since. So I want to share with you the 6 places that human design can actually change your business. We talked about your energy, but your energy can impact your business structure, or should impact your business structure. Not every business owner is built to hustle 60 hours a week. Not everyone is designed to be constantly visible. Your human design shows you how your energy actually works, how it's sustainable or not, and how you might have powerful bursts of energy as opposed to consistent, sustainable energy. And your business structure needs to reflect that. Do you work better solo, or do you need a team? What lights you up and what drains you? The difference between building something sustainable and burning yourself out is whether or not you're aligned or you're using someone else's model. It's very important. And there are lots of places in the chart where we can look to get clues into what business model works best for you. And this includes your offers, how many hours a week you work. There's a lot to it. And we can get clues about this to make your business be one that feels fulfilling and doesn't drain you, that doesn't lead to burnout, because you're trying to keep up with a generator world that perhaps wasn't built for you. And this is especially true for the manifestors, the projectors, and of course the reflectors. The second place that it actually can change your business is your natural skills and talents. Being remembered, not invented. You don't need another course. You need to remember what you already naturally know how to do. On some level, you have brilliance in certain areas, and you've got to begin trusting it and talking about it. Human design gives you a map of your innate gifts, not skills you developed because you had to, but capabilities you were born with. The moment that you recognize them, you really get a sense of, well, gee, that's why that's so easy for me. And here's the beautiful part. A lot of these things that come naturally and easy to you are deep, valuable skills that some people may not have. What comes easy to you might be something that somebody else struggles with a lot. And if you can help them with it, that is something you need to talk about in your marketing. It sets you apart. Not everybody has it. It's very powerful. The third area is direction and clarity about what you're here to do. This is where the fog really lifts. Human design gives you language for your purpose, not in a vague way, but in a practical, business applicable way. What are you here to do? Who are you here to serve? What's the work that only you can do in the way that only you can do it? This is about how you came here to be in the world, and you do have a purpose. And it's important that what you do for work is aligned with your purpose. Now, you can do lots of things in lots of industries and be aligned with your purpose, but you want to make sure you're aligned and not trying to do something that is out of alignment. That's the fastest way to burn out. Here's an example. A generator has to do something they're passionate about, or they're going to burn out faster than anything. So if you're working in some kind of a position where there's a lot of routine and it's almost mindless, you can do it with your eyes closed, that is going to tire a generator out very, very quickly, because they need to be lit up and excited about what they're doing. The manifestors need room to be creative. The projectors have insights into others, and they need the ability to share those. So there are certain things that you can get clarity around, which help to define the direction you need to go in, even to the point of what you want to offer. The fourth thing is who needs what you offer. Your design shows you who you're built to attract, the energy of your tribe, the kind of client who is wired to receive what you offer. When you're aligned with that right client, they don't have to be convinced. They recognize you. And if you're talking about this in your marketing and your webinars and your social media posts, they're going to find you. What you say is going to resonate with them. Messaging that actually lands. That's the fifth thing. Words that come right out of your human design. They're so authentic and true to you that you can't help but attract others to you. Most messaging problems are really not writing problems or copy problems. They're clarity problems. And under the clarity problem is an alignment problem. When you're clear on who you are here to serve and who you are talking to, the words come easily. It's important that your messaging be clear. And this is one of the biggest areas where I see people struggle. They don't quite find the words. And there's marketing words right in your human design chart. You can pull them out and use them, and people will get a very clear picture of who you are, what you can do to help them, what you are here to serve them with. Number 6 is the sales and buying process, which we touched on a little bit, but this one really surprises most people. Human design gives you insight into how people make decisions and how your ideal clients come to a buying decision. And as I said before, some people need emotional clarity before they say yes. Some people need to sleep on it. Others need to move fast once something resonates with them. And understanding this changes everything about how you show up in a sales conversation. You stop pushing and you start trusting the process and making sure you have built things into your sales process that help people have the time, the space, and the actual really ability to do their thing from a decision-making perspective so they feel good about the decision. Because if they get overwhelmed or confused, or they feel forced into making a decision too quickly, one that they're not ready to make, they're simply going to shut down and walk away and just not even explore it with you. So I want to be really honest with you about something because it matters for what I'm going to share at the end. I used to do readings. I've done hundreds and hundreds of readings, comprehensive, detailed human design readings for business owners, and people love them. But I started noticing something. People were excited in the moment. They left with a recording and a new vocabulary for themselves, and then nothing changed. A few months later, some couldn't even tell me their energy type. They couldn't find the recording. The reading was interesting. It just wasn't actionable. The women who had done multiple readings had a stack of notes and were still like completely stuck about the direction of the business. Even when they know their type, their profile, they still might have no idea, and they walk away without anything to sink their teeth into in the way of a Monday morning action. That's when I stopped doing readings and I started teaching. Not just the mechanics of human design, but how to use it. Because when you apply it to your business, that's where the rubber hits the road. What actually changes when you run your marketing through the lens of your design, or structure your offer around your energy, or show up in a sales conversation in a way that honors how you've been built and how others are built. Knowledge without application is just interesting. Application is where your business changes. Think about that. Taking action is where things change. So here's what I really want you to hear before I close. This isn't about learning something new. This isn't another system to master, another framework to implement on top of the ones you've already been struggling with to keep up with. Human design is a remembering. When you see your chart applied to your actual business, when someone walks you through what it means for the way you work, the way you communicate, the clients you're here to serve, it doesn't feel like new information. It's not something you have to learn, study hard, and try to remember. It feels like relief. It feels like validation. That's a word that has been used so many times when I work with clients. This is so validating, they say. Oh, that's why I've always struggled with this. That's what I've been trying to say. That was the direction I always felt like I was supposed to go into. These are the revelations people have when we look at their human design and we align their business with it. I've watched many women sit with this recognition and feel something shift, not intellectually, but in their bones. That second guessing quiets. The performance stops. What's left is someone who knows who she is and how to put that out into the world on her terms. That is where your best business strategy lives. It always has been. So I want to tell you about something I'm going to be opening up in July. It's called the Unapologetic Woman Entrepreneur, and it's my paid tier on Substack. And inside, I'm going to be teaching human design for business, not doing readings, but real application. Monthly live trainings on focused topics, your energy type, your business structure, your messaging, your sales process, how you attract clients, live interactive coaching sessions with a community of women who are learning to build and lead from who they actually are. Because getting a reading is nice, knowing how to use what you've learned is where everything changes. It's only $99 a year. That's less than $9 a month. And I promise you, one insight applied to your business will return that investment for many times over. The information is in the show notes, and I hope you have the inclination to check it out and see if it's for you. I want to leave you with a few questions. Just notice what comes up and think about these, if you will. Where in your business have you been trying to copy someone else's formula instead of trusting your own design? What part of you have you been treating like a flaw when it actually might be an edge? Where are you performing instead of expressing? And what's one area of your business that feels slightly off, that might just need adjusting instead of abandoning? You don't need the answer right now. You only need to ask the question. You don't need to become more like anyone else to build the business you want. You need to understand with real clarity who you already are, how you decide, who you're built to serve, and what you alone bring into a room that no one else can, and how you're built to let yourself be seen. This understanding isn't a nice extra layer on top of strategy. For most of us, it is the strategy. Human design didn't give you your brilliance. It simply helps you reveal it. And the woman you started this journey in the first place to be, she's still there. She probably knows more than you think. That's why I wanted to share this with you today. Let her out, let her shine, let her lead with her light.
Thank you for joining Business Success with Human Design with Nancy O'Keefe every Thursday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Join Nancy next time to discover how you can get in the ease and flow of life and out of business overwhelm with human design. Business owners spend a lot of energy conforming to the rules of business. Nancy shows us how to pursue your business based on who you were born to be and how you were born to serve for the ultimate success. To connect with Nancy O'Keefe, go to nancyokeefecoaching.com. That's nancyokeefecoaching.com.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.